Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of Art of War Plus One. Today I'm joined here with Liam, and we're doing something a little bit different. So, if you'd just like to explain what it is we're doing here today.
Yeah, we're just going to open 6 packs of Tales of Aria, look at some pack 1, pick 1s, what you want to think about when drafting the set, and then put it all together at the end and talk about what we would do in sealed if this was what we were given.
Yep, cool. Alright, let's get into it.
Alright, and let's see if I can open these new Japanese packs.
Yeah, I'll start. I'll prep some of the others because they're very difficult to open actually.
Alright. So we start by laying out all the cards.
Yeah, so we didn't get an equipment piece.
No, because the equipment pieces are at the start. Yeah. Yep, so this pack has 2 rares in it. We've got the blue Lightning Press and the yellow Cold Wave.
Yep.
Neither of which I'm particularly excited about. Cold Wave is a reasonably powerful card.
Yeah.
Especially if you're looking at Lexi, having a yellow arrow that attacks for 4. You want a certain density of those.
Mm-hmm.
As a pick 1, I'd like to stay reasonably open and stay away from the filler commons in decks such as the Ranger cards here, the Guardian Attack, and the Rune Blade Inspire Lightning, and look at more of the elemental stuff.
So if I was drafting this pack, I think the 2 most standout cards for me are the yellow Autumn's Touch.
Yep.
And the Valor Flash down the bottom there.
Yep.
Is probably, if I was to go into a class right away, this is probably the most compelling one, with the red Snow Under being like a little bit further down.
I also really like the red Winter's Grasp.
Yeah.
It sets you up nicely for an ice start, just being a 3 block with 6 attack.
Mm-hmm.
You can fuse it in Arsenal it, and you're set up for your next turn as well.
Yeah, I would. I guess this is more personal preference, but I would always prioritize the Earth card over the Ice card. Just because the Earth card can be played in Briar. Yep. Which is
I agree.
Very powerful.
Yep. Briar and Ultim I think are a little easier to put together than Lexi. So picking the card that lets you stay in both those classes is my preference there.
However, like if you were like a Lexi aficionado and you're very comfortable in that hero, and you can actually see that there are quite a few different Lexi cards in this pack.
Yep, so we're looking at Cold Wave, Blizzard Bolt, Lightning Press is always nice for that deck.
Yeah, that you can
Buzz Bolt.
That you can look to wheel, so you can start with a very open pick and hope some of those come back around. Whether on the Runeblade side of things, you don't have nearly as many cards to wheel.
There's very few. There's like a very mediocre yellow Inspire Lightning.
Yeah.
There's a blue Lightning Press.
Yeah.
But other than that, you're looking at these 2 cards here for Briar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the background.
Yeah, and on the Oldham side, you've actually got some decent cards. You've got the still the red Snow Under, the yellow Mulch, and the yellow Polar Blast, and Entangle. So you've actually got quite a lot of playables. So
and the Autumn's Touch.
Yeah.
So you're looking at Ultim as being very open in this pack. You're expecting to wheel at least 1 good card here.
Yep.
So that makes me want to take a card for Ultim and less so Briar.
Yeah, I think my pick.
I think it's still the Autumn's Touch though.
Is the Autumn's Touch, and then you can decide Briar or Ultim on the next pack, basically. Cool.
Yeah, so Tales, especially, is a lot different to draft than previous sets. There's a lot of different ways you can start by drafting, and it's a lot easier to stay open for longer, I think, than in previous sets.
Okay, let's have a go. Alright, so straight up, got a good lightning card. We have an equipment. And this is an extra compelling piece of equipment.
Yeah, that's a very strong one.
Okay, the power level of this pack is much higher. This pack is very strong. There's a lot to think about here. So the most obvious cards that leap out at me is the Cyclist Sweet Hides, the Red Snapshot, and Dazzling Crescendo.
Yep, I mean, anything that deals arcane damage is also very valuable in this limited set. So I really like the explosive growth here.
Yep. And also Bramble Spark.
Bramble Spark is very strong. Entwine Lightning's a very, very powerful card in a lightning-based deck. So you're very much looking for that if you're committing to Briar or Lexi.
Inspire Lightning is...
I mean Entwine Lightning.
Entwine Lightning, yeah.
Burgeoning's a solid earth card you can take here.
Yeah. Virtually every card in this pack is pretty good.
Sigil of Suffering is very strong.
Yeah.
There's not many ways to prevent the arcane damage, so often it's just a block 3 that deals 1.
Yep, which is very good.
But as a pack 1 pick 1, cards I'm looking towards are probably similar to the last pack, I think. It's this if you want to commit to Rune Blade.
Yeah.
I
think.
Entwine Lightning is very strong. Other than that, it would be the Winter's Grasp again if you want to stay open and ice.
Yep.
Or Burgeoning maybe, but I think that's a lot lower on my priority list.
Yeah.
It's just a solid earth attack, and there's quite a few of those in the set.
Yeah, so I think if I was drafting this in a competitive environment and this was my first pick, I would almost...
I'd go the Entwine Lightning, I think.
You go the Entwine Lightning?
I think it's the most versatile card there, and it just has a solid rate on it.
Yep. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards too. Part of me would like to just take the Sweet Hide so that even if I don't end up on Briar, no one else has the hides. Because it's just a extremely powerful card. But yeah,
you're also looking at a lot of good wheeling cards for Lightning Briar here. You're looking at the Bramble Spark, Heaven's Claws, Shock Striker, Explosive Growth, Burgeoning, Sigil, Sweet Hides. This pack has an insane amount of cards that you want.
I think when you're looking at this pack, you can take these cards and pretty much throw them away because you have so many good Briar cards. You have
Burgeoning
so many good
plays well in Briar as well.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
You can take out most of the old claim cards because you have 2 really powerful Lexi cards as well that you can look to wheel. And when you take the Entwine Lightning, you're still open for these cards.
3 very good Lexi cards actually here. Yeah,
so no matter which way you're going to go, you're going to get at least, some really powerful cards for Lexi or Briar back. So
so committing to Lightning here seems like the best play to me.
Yeah.
With the Entwine Lightning.
All right.
Oh, it's pre-opened.
Whoa. Still a bit of a mission there.
Right, an old buckler, eh? We got a Majestic. Definitely lower on my priority list of Majestics in the set than most of them.
Yep.
It doesn't feel great and limited. There's not many ways to abuse it. It doesn't block, which makes it kind of rough.
It's definitely more of a constructed card, isn't it?
So this pack is definitely not as strong as the last one.
Yep. So talking about the elemental cards, Burgeoning, I think it's pretty strong here.
Yep. Blue's Heaven's Claws is quite versatile. It just has not a bad rate for a 1 cost for 3 attack on an elemental card.
Yeah, blocking 3 and limited is pretty decent.
Yep. Another reason Winter's Grasp is so solid most of the time.
Yep.
Other things I'd be looking in this pack are Red Glacial Footsteps.
Yeah,
it's very good at pushing damage.
I was waiting to say that. I think the Glacial Footsteps and Red Mulch is actually... there's nothing else too crazy in this pack, so it's what I would be looking towards, I think.
And then you've also got a couple good wheels for that deck, which is the Winter's Grasp and the Burgeoning.
Yep.
Rotten Old Buckler as well for that deck.
Yep, so...
other than that, not much else excites me. If you really wanted to commit to Briar because you like playing deck or you think it's strong, you've got some good cards here. You've got the Rites of Replenishment, Stir the Wildwood, Burgeoning, and Heaven's Claws. But other than that, it's not particularly exciting.
Yep.
I think, this pack's looking like an autumn pack.
Yeah, so I think...
And both these are good.
I think what I would do is I would take the Burgeoning and then look to the next pack, and if Oldhim is open, I would commit on that pack to an Oldhim deck and hope one of those 2 cards wheels. I just generally think that you want to be taking elemental cards early because they're going to dry up extremely fast, and you need them to get off a lot of the powerful effects from your class cards.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to ensure that you have a base of decent Earth cards, or Earth and Ice cards, before you can get your other cards, basically.
The other thing you can look at is just cutting all the Guardian cards out of the packs, so no one wants to go it. So you could take Mulch, and then you could take the next Guardian card you see,
Yeah.
and then the drafter to your left doesn't see any Guardian cards, so it's less likely to commit to it.
Yeah, it's also true.
It's a little riskier because you're not as versatile. Obviously, you're locked into Guardian pretty early.
Yeah.
Or you switch later and get a lower quality of card pool.
Yeah.
But that's what you can do if you really think that these cards warrant the power level of committing early.
Yeah, I mean, say, like the red Mulch is probably one of the stronger Guardian cards. If this was like a lower... If it was like a lower stakes tournament or something, I could see myself just first picking the red Mulch, and just taking that risk. But if this is I guess a tournament where it's, life or death, I'll go for
Around
the
3
safer play.
events.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty similar, I think.
Okay. Alright. Another Sweet Hides. This is a very good card. Okay, another really high power level pack.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is one of the strongest cards in Limited, just in the whole format.
Yep, hitting 2 good breakpoints, being Arcane and for attack.
Yeah.
Making 2 embodiments lets you block out really well.
Yep.
Blue Electrify is a solid card.
Yep. And I
just
also think this is really powerful for Ranger.
overflux.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so I think these 4 are the most obviously powerful cards in the deck,
Mm-hmm.
in the pack.
Lightning Surge is a decent filler card.
Yep. So in terms of filler cards,
So things you're looking at wheeling here, the
this
Lightning
one was-
Surge, and then you've got the Arcanic Shockwave.
yeah, for the bright side, yeah.
The bright side, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, you're not looking at too much that's exciting. So
Mm-hmm.
Glacial Footsteps Yellow is a decent card. It just pushes
Yep.
a lot of damage,
There isn't,
but there's not a lot that's making you want to take Ultimate at all.
one thing I could see that you could try and do is, because this pack is very, very good Briar cards, and let's say you don't want to play Briar, I could actually see first picking this Red Frazzle, hoping other players miss the Overflex, and that it wheels back to you, because there's pretty much nothing else.
There's some very good options for Ranger in here, yeah.
Yeah.
You got the Red Frazzle, Blue Electrify, Red Overflex,
Yeah.
and then like some supporting cards which are like
Yeah.
the random lightning things and
Yeah.
Dazzling Crescendo.
Yeah, pretty much. There's nothing like that screams like WoW and Ranger, but if you wanted to play Ranger, I don't think you, the players that are going to pass you on the next round are going to commit to Ranger if you take one of the Ranger cards. I think that's pretty safe to say they're going to go with the Singing Steelblade.
Yep.
Like if you get these 2 passed to you on the first pack, you're playing Riot, right? Or you're pretty much immediately swapping.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's pretty safe to say to play Signals there, because that is one of the dangers of like taking the Singeing Steelblade or the Sweet Heights and sending one to the next player over, is that they might think that, oh, this is one of the best cards for Briar, I might play that as well. So
Yep, and that's the danger of taking the Electrify to stay open there in Briar and Lexi.
yeah,
Is that you're passing 2 very good Briar cards, and 2 very good Ranger cards.
Yep.
So it's unlikely you're going to see either of those classes again, and someone else might commit to it.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're down the more powerful cards in the class for,
Yeah.
which is the cost you're paying for your versatility there.
yeah. I think I'd almost just commit to the Ranger here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be my first pick.
Yep, you're looking at a lot of good wheels for that.
Yeah. Just hope you don't get matched. Hope you don't get matched against the Briar with the Singeing and the Sweet Hides.
Well, I like this pack already.
Let's go.
There's another Majestic. So this pack has some very, very strong cards.
Yep.
Mark of Lightning being one of the stronger equipments in the set.
Yeah,
It's
and
insane.
Lightning as well.
Ball Lightning, red. Red Invigorate's a good supporting card for any elemental deck you're going.
Yeah, and also just some really decent cards. You have the red Arcanine Shockwave,
Yep.
the blue Evergreen, and the red Rights Replenishment.
You obviously have Oakenold, which is a little bit of a trap and limited, I think.
Yeah.
It's quite hard to set up. You can play for it on the second pass through, but it's not as easy to play as like just a Glacial Footsteps or something.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess we look at the pack. What else is there for Oldhim, really?
You got a Blue Weave Earth, which is just a blue Earth card you're interested in playing. But other than that,
And the Evergreen.
Yeah, the Evergreen.
So there's not a lot of Oldhim. So if you were, I guess this would be fine if you were really committed to playing Oldhim. But pick one, double fuse is a bit hopeful, I'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the safe plays are the Mark of Lightning and the Ball Lightning. These cards are really powerful.
Both of them are my top picks, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which I prefer.
I
It's
think
probably the Ball Lightning.
I'd go for the Ball Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
The card is just
It's so strong.
obscene.
Especially if you get like Frazzle or something in Lexi.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at good wheels for both Lexi and Briar. You've got like Overflex, Rights of Replenishment, Evergreen.
And the decent blues.
Yeah, and then Red Invigorate. And you've got like the supporting cards for a Lexi deck and the Chill to the Bone, Chilling Ice Vein.
And the Overflex.
And the Overflex, yeah.
Yeah. And Red Invigorate, I guess it's like the most open card because you can play it in any deck.
Yeah.
But it's not that exciting really, especially when you're comparing it to the likes of a Ball Lightning.
And the deck it's least exciting in is Ultim, which is the weakest part of this pack.
Yeah.
So you'd rather take one of the stronger parts of the pack and hope to wheel it.
Yeah, I actually think Red Invigorate is a pretty decent card if you play it in like if the power level of the pack is kind of low. It can be like one of the decent picks, and you can try and see what's coming next.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Alright, starting off strong.
Another Ball Lightning.
This card seems pretty strong.
So we have one of my favourite cards in the set, which is the blue Earthlore Surge.
Yep.
It's very strong. It's a blue Earth card, which makes it exciting for Briar and Oldhim. Which has a decent rate for a blue, honestly.
Yeah, yep.
Then we obviously have blue Ball Lightning, yellow Electrify, red Overflex,
Mm-hmm.
and then some mediocre rest of the pack, I think. Blue Icequake's pretty solid.
Yep. This would be a pack that would make me like really strongly consider Oldhim.
Yeah. There's a lot of just filler cards for the deck.
Yeah,
You're guaranteed to see something good wheel here.
I really rate this card. It's just 2 for 8 is an awesome rate.
Yep.
So it's extremely powerful. And then we've also got some decent blue Earth cards that can wheel. We've got the Earthless Surge, we've got a red Summerwood Shelter, and we've got a red Breakground, as well as the blue Mulch. So I think the all-time cards here are very good.
Yep, and you can always pivot into Briar with that start.
Yeah. So I think that would be my first pick, but I can also definitely see an argument for taking the either the Icequake or the Ball Lightning first.
Yep. Or the Earthlore Surge, I think, is
there's also
a bit of a consideration. It's probably not as good as the Entwine Earth if you're committing to that the Earth deck in this pack.
Yep.
But it's not bad.
It's not bad at all. Yeah. There's also the Amulet of Ice if you were to commit to that Oldhim strategy.
Yeah.
Don't underrate the amulets. They're not really first pick material, but they're definitely really strong in a lot of decks.
The Earth is definitely the weakest, I find.
Yeah.
I rate it a lot lower than the other two.
Yeah.
With Ice being by far the best.
Yeah. Definitely. Yep. And I guess if you're looking for Briar, the Yellow Strode the Wildwood is not a very bad card, and it helps that there are a lot of other Earth cards in the pack.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I don't really see much here for Lexi, other than just first picking the Electrify, the Ball Lightning, and then getting some better packs down the road for it.
Yep, and hoping to get that Overflex back.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. So in terms of what you're looking for in a pack, what do you look for first?
So I usually look for the overall power level of the cards.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually categorize 75% of the pack as bad,
Yeah.
because I also want to make a decision in a reasonable amount of time, right? So I find 3 or 4 cards that are consideration. So I might miss something doing that, but that's my method, is I find 3 or 4 cards that I like. So in this case it's the Entwined Lightning, the Ball Lightning, the Earthwall Surge, and the Electrify. And then once I find 4 cards that I like, I look at the rest of the pack for wheels and considerations. So the rest of the pack is Ice and Earth focused. So we have these on the Earth side, and this is making me lean towards the Earth card, especially with Entwined Lightning being what I think is probably the strongest card in the pack. Yep. And then when I go from there, I kind of look towards some of the other cards in the pack, and I'm like, what kind of influence will these have on drafters to the left or right of me? And I kind of go from there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's most important to identify any bombs, as it were. So like cards that single-handedly influence the game by themselves.
Yeah.
So your big majestics, your equipment, and then after that you start looking at the more the power level of the commons and the rares.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as you identify you don't have something like a legendary equipment, for example, or a really good majestic, then you move on to looking at the overall power level of the cards.
Mm-hmm. And it's always nice to say have one of those like insanely powerful cards that just points you in a direction and says go.
Yep.
But the vast majority of sealed events, you won't have something like that. You'll have a pool of average cards, and you'll be looking like you'll be looking for bombs to pull you in a direction, or you're going to be going, all right, I've got nothing amazing. I guess this is more sealed territory now. You go, there's nothing crazy, we're going to go build the pile of whatever the best deck is, the best weapon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of the thought process for sealed in general. As you look for powerful cards to pull you in a direction, see how the rest of the cards influence the people on your left and right, and if that lines up with what direction you want to go to. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess like my number one tip for people looking to get better at draft is to draft with purpose. Don't just think, oh, this guy's good, take it. Consider a few different things. Work out, if I do this, what is my end deck going to look like, and what could happen to change that, you know.
Yeah, in most limited formats you won't want to be starting a draft saying like, alright, I'm going to play Briar this draft.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you just might not find the cards for it.
Exactly.
And if you do take a mediocre deck, especially when you're starting out with something that is the strongest deck, you know that other people are going to be trying to take cards as well.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's going to be weaker than saying like, at the very least, alright, I'm going to try Lexi this time. And because you know you're going to get more Lexi cards probably than you're going to get Briar cards.
Yeah, it's a fair assumption. So when I take this Entwined Lightning, I'm thinking, right, my deck is probably going to be Earth. Oldheimer is probably going to be fairly open, so I can fall back on that. But if the next Briar pack looks good, I'm going to look towards that Briar direction, because the deck is easy to pilot and more powerful generally.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's kind of how we go about it.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much the end of part 1.
Yep. Cool. So for part 2, I think we'll just put together. Well, look at building a sealed deck out of this.
Awesome.
Which is obviously a less competitive angle because sealed should not be a competitive format. But you are going to run sealed events at like pre-releases and similar.
And
the
I
occasional
think,
skirmish.
I think knowing how to play sealed is a good skill, because it will help your card evaluation for when you're building your constructed decks. So yeah, that's good to get into. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and check out our Patreon. Help buy us a beer.
Yeah.
You know, we've got plenty of different tiers with awesome content, depending on which one you get. So please check that out. Links in the description, and we'll see you guys next time.
Cool. See you next time.